Well, hey there, everybody. Guess what? Sam and I are back. She's already drinking her tea. We're
Vodka.
live. Vodka. Let's start the day nice and quiet, obviously. Nice and light. Let's start with the vodka. It's Life Downloaded. We're live. I've already made a technical snafu because if you're watching us on Periscope, if you're watching us on Twitter, probably on Facebook too, who knows? It says we're going to be joined by the lovely Matty Oxley because I forgot to change the title. Hands up. Matty isn't going to be here. I'm sorry, Matty fans, if you are watching. But we'll get him back at some point, I'm sure. This is our first Life Downloaded in a little while because, well, Sam's been uber busy. I've been uber busy. The world is uber weird. But we're here. We're live. Tenables going on in the background for Sam. Just seen Warwick Davis flash up on screen.
Oh, Warwick. We need to get Warwick on the podcast. This is my gentle nudge to him, isn't it?
Yeah, Warwick.
I just need to I'll just turn it that way and I'll move out the way and everyone can just watch Tenable.
Everyone can just watch Tenable. I didn't lie to you, Adam. I was just an idiot and didn't change the title. Entirely on me. But the lovely Adam Pearson is watching. Obviously, if you want to listen to his episode, it's a few episodes back now. But they're still available on all good podcasting
we did have Adam
services. We did. We should have him on again. But only if he wears the bear t-shirt. That's a remit. But yeah, how is everybody? How are you doing? Sam, more importantly, how are you doing, my dear? In your
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
I'm sorry that I look a little bit dishevelled. This is the beauty of getting older. There would never be, like, even 5 years ago or even 3 years ago, I would not be doing something like this with greasy hair, a jumper, which is really cozy actually, no makeup, just living my best life. But I have been really, really busy and my health has been really quite shit. Another joy of getting older. So I've just been, I think, a little bit like everybody at the moment. I've just been taking every day as a day and not thinking too far ahead, not worrying too much, just kind of living in the moment and seeing what the day brings. And I think that's been really good for my mental well-being. And also, because I just don't know if I'm going to wake up with aches and pains and creaks and this, that, and the other. So yeah, it is a weird time. And this last week, I am getting to a stage because I'm not really leaving the house that much, not just because of COVID, but just little things like there's been a lot of road closures in London, which makes it really inaccessible for me, obviously, because I take taxis. So that's been one big hurdle for me. And also when my bones are just being a little bit creaky and unpredictable, I become a little bit of a recluse, which, again, pandemic and all, maybe not a bad thing. So, yeah, it's a pretty wild one, isn't it? And on one hand, I've got all these hospital appointments and it's all this very kind of heavy stuff in this whole reality of living with an impairment. And then the flip side, I've been very fortunate. I am a freelancer, but I've had quite a steady stream of work, which has been fantastic. And now, with the blessing of Zoom and Microsoft Teams and so forth, I've definitely been able to keep my foot in the game, so to speak. So yeah, it's a very, very weird. I mean, it's weird for everyone, but for me, it's been a very weird one because I actually don't know on one day to the next how I should be feeling, but I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic, and I'm glad that we're back.
Yes.
Chatting, because I have missed you, and we have been very, very naughty. We do apologise. I mean, in an ideal world, we'd love to do this every single week, but I mean, you don't, Dan, you don't have a PA. I have a PA, so a PA is someone that assists me in daily activities, but who. She's called Louise. Should give her a name because she's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and she's very nice. I've met Louise.
She only comes for 15 hours a day. And I think when your health has been struggling, things take a little bit longer. And, the fact that she has got children, and then being off school, etc. Everything's just been slowed down. And look at me trying to make it excuses, but this is the reason why. We've probably not been as consistent, but we are here now. And I also know that because we have been plugging, that myself and Dan are really crap at social media. Say it as it is. Adam, we're going to give you the job, actually. You're going to take over.
Yeah, Adam, do you want to be social media mogul?
Yeah, we can pay you with love.
We can, because we're too broke to do anything else. Well, I definitely am.
Exactly. I know. I can find cat things, so I'm always broke.
See, well...
But yes. We might have some followers, which will be really nice. So welcome to anyone new. If you are listening, as you can tell, we just talk a load of shite most of the time. No, we're not too bad, are we? We sometimes ramble. I ramble quite a lot.
Yeah, we ramble, we chat, we talk about life, we talk about everything, we talk about what's going on in the world, how it affects us as 2 30-something wheelchair users. And we kind of have a giggle, but a bit of a serious chat. You guys can chat to us. We do already love you, Adam, but we can pay you with more love if you control our social media. We are also live and very interactive, as you can tell. So if you guys are watching us on Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and all those glamorous places that Sam and I are being broadcast to right now, feel free to drop something in the comment like Adam, because obviously we can reply. That's the joy of being live.
Notice I'm very shiny. I don't know whether this light is doing me any justice, but it's fine. If I go any further back, I'm on this little table. I found this perfect table for my laptop. Obviously, being in a wheelchair, some tables can just be impractical, and I found this very lightweight, foldable laptop stand, and it's perfect. So I can literally just move it at will. But I think if I go any further back, I might just go into a dark hole. Oh, I don't know.
You're all right. We can still see you. We can still see you.
It's quite tiny, though. I don't understand.
It's obviously your aura emanating from your person.
Joe is so kind. You should just say, Sam, have a shower. Come on now, love. Have a shower. It's time. It's been 6 months.
It has not been 6 months. But talking of which, I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks minimum, if not longer, probably longer. And I opened my social media, my own personal one yesterday, to find out you're the 3rd most powerful disabled person in the country. Why was I not informed before?
Yay. I know. I mean, as you can tell by looking at me, it's definitely gone to my head. I mean, I've got my entourage looking on, working on my style.
Yeah.
So yes, lovely honour. I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? I do what I do. I do what I do because I love it. And I've made a career out of, just being fabulous, but also, I don't do my campaigning to kind of get a badge of honour or anything. I do it because I genuinely believe in it. But I wouldn't be human if I did say that it's nice to get some recognition, So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, there's thousands, you and I know thousands of amazing, influential people with disabilities who are just fabulous, and we all deserve to be number one, and I truly believe that. But yeah, it's nice to have that title. And if I'm thinking as a savvy businesswoman, it's great for me to be able to put that on my LinkedIn page or, on my profiles, to be able to do more public speaking and engage with people. Because a lot of people, they probably don't, let's face it, many people haven't met anyone like you or I, Dan. And particularly the clients that I get a lot of big clients. I've been getting quite a lot of international clients, and I know for a fact, I mean, let's say it as it is, a lot of very upper middle class white men in suits, working for big organizations. They kind of, get me to come along and talk about disability, which is fantastic. I think, proactive, etc. But it's great for me to have that title, so that can open up more doors, so that I can engage with these very prehistoric institutions, I suppose. And I mean, it is a very, I don't like how we work as a society. You know, that you need to have X amount of followers, or you need to have, kind of these titles, because there's so many more deserving people out there that maybe didn't get the same opportunities as you or I.
Yeah, well, this is it. And that's the conversation I was having with my girlfriend on the train home yesterday. I was like, yay, Sam's in the Power 100. Yay, Adam, who tells me I lied to him, is also, but we do love him, is in the Power 100. So, and there's so many other cool, diverse, intelligent, talented people in that list. But for everyone in that list, there is another 100 people that aren't in that list. And it's great that it raises profiles. I'm all for that. But yeah, I always find personally award ceremonies and lists like that both a blessing and a curse, because it's a case of, what differentiates that person from that person.
I agree with you, but equally, I'm not very good at giving myself a pat on the back, and I probably should do it more often. But, I'm a hard worker, and I've grafted, I've been around, I've been in London nearly 9 years, and that's when my journey as a campaigner started. So one would say, nearly a decade of me networking, building my profile, So I get when people go, there's other people who are amazing out there, but I don't feel like I was ever given a silver spoon.
No, not at all.
I come from a working class family in a town that isn't metropolitan, cosmopolitan. I've definitely worked my way up. I'm not saying I'm not I don't have my privileges. But yeah, so this is exactly what I'll say. A list like this is never going to. Not everyone's going to be happy with it.
No.
But I just think, for me personally, anything that highlights, a good cause and, kind of gives people a platform to speak, it can't be a bad thing.
No, definitely. And I agree with you. And I know pretty much just as well as anybody, because trying to find time in your schedule to do these podcasts, let alone anything else, is testament to how hard you work. And of course,
I don't do any work. I actually just sit there and play with my cats. So I'm a complete liar. When I say that I'm on a really important, Zoom with a client, that means I'm playing with a piece of string with a dangly thing. And one of them's about to attack the other one right now. So prepare for me to disappear. Okay. That might actually happen.
To separate the cat war.
Separate the cat.
But this proves, everybody, that we are live in living colour, that Sam has to cat wrangle in the middle of a podcast. We are live.
I feel like I want to turn the computer completely around and have little Bruno in the shot. But you could talk for a while I try and do that, because everything might go very, very wrong.
Okay, we're doing something dangerous. Sam, for those of you listening on the podcast, is trying to turn her laptop around, because obviously we live stream to Twitter, Facebook, so everybody can see Bruno. There he is. There he is in the left-hand corner.
Bruno.
I feel I should now put on my David Attenborough impression, if it was any good, which it isn't.
Looking at you.
We are now in the wild. We see Bruno the cat, coaxed by Sam. No.
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah. So there you go. That was Bruno the cat.
Very bright now.
There you go. Oh.
Oh, you've gone. No.
No, we're back. We're back. Sam, Lisa S on YouTube.
Oh no.
Lisa S on YouTube.
Back.
You're back. Lisa S on YouTube wants you to tell us about the new cat. So tell us about Bruno, because unless, people have been keeping up with your social media, they may or may not know about Bruno.
Yes. So I've already got a Sphinx cat. So the Sphinx cats are they're not real cats. They are the cat dog of this world.
The cat dog.
So they're the ones that don't have any fur. They're highly intelligent, and they are a genetic mutation. So I got Lola when I was having quite a hard time with depression, and I felt quite lonely. And yeah, so I decided to get her for my mental well-being. And we've got a really close bond, but the problem is Sphinx cats don't like to be left alone. And because we have got such a strong bond, she was getting very distraught every time I went out to work. Now, luckily, I do work a lot from home, which is great, but that kind of made it worse. A little like what we're finding now with pets in lockdown. They're getting so used to us being constantly there. So I decided when I came back to get her a little friend. So it's baby Bruno, just so that they always have someone. But it's been probably the most challenging thing ever because cats don't particularly get on with other cats. Sphinx cats, because they're intelligent, they've got a higher chance of becoming friends because they recognise that it's not a threat, it's actually someone to play with and someone to snuggle with. So, but the first month, I would say, it wasn't going very well, and I was sat there going, oh my God, what have I done? Irresponsible person. However, I persisted, and I made sure that I'm like, love each other, like each other. So with a lot of interaction and lots of cuddles, which is never a bad thing, they actually now really quite like one another. They're very much like brother and sister. Like he's a little bit younger, so he's a little bit like, I want to play all the time. I want to play. And she's like, go away. But yeah, no, we've become this cute little family. And for me, because my health hasn't been that great, it's actually really good because they can entertain one another. When it was just Lola, she needed a lot of attention. And sometimes when I wasn't feeling that great, I physically couldn't get out of bed and kind of give her that attention. So now these two actually chase each other and exhaust each other out. But yeah, we are a happy little dysfunctional family, and I wouldn't want it any other way. And I used to be a dog person, but now I'm definitely a Sphinx cat person.
Oh, see, I am out and out a dog person because obviously my lovely lady has 4 cats. 4 cats, yes. And I have come, into cats hardcore between you getting Lola and meeting my lovely lady. Cats all of a sudden were a massive feature in my life.
All the women in your life have got cats. Indeed,
all the women in my life have got cats. But no, I have to say, I'm not converted. I'm still a dog person. Still a dog person.
I totally get it. And I would still, if I lived somewhere that would allow me to get a dog, as in green space, I would definitely go and get a dog as well. And a goat. I want a goat.
Not you as well. My girlfriend also wants a goat. I'm not
I think me and your girlfriend need to date and just leave you away. I think that's what needs to happen. Because it seems like we've got more in common than you and her. So
I'm not letting the two of you get in the same room, I don't think.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
If I let the two of you get in the same room, it's going to be chaos.
Chaos. Madness. So, I don't know how to do a really, really good segue because I'm crap at segues, but we have been chatting to you lovely people who follow us on our Instagram page.
Yes.
And I think yesterday, oh my God, every day is blurred into one. Yesterday, I asked if you had any questions, and you lovely folks actually gave us some questions, which is fantastic.
Indeed.
Normally it's like tumbleweeds, and we're like, oh.
We ask a question and nobody responds, but we asked the question and you guys delivered.
Amazing.
With various questions that Sam has picked out and has shared on our Instagram story. I will also put on screen here for the live broadcast because, shiny technology. So yeah, we're going to attempt to answer.
Shall I do that now?
Your burning questions. Why not? You've given us a good segue. Let's run with it. I'll put question 1 up on
really
screen.
Rubbish segue. Okay, so one of the questions, and I don't actually know who it's from because I just screen grabbed it. When did you guys first
You've changed the questions now. Here we go. You've changed the order. There we go. Right, we're on the same question.
Sorry.
You're all right.
God, please give up now, my lord. When did you guys first meet, and what was your genuine first impression of each other? So this is a difficult one because now that we're all in our 30s, our memories are really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was quite difficult. But you said something just before we came live on air, Dan, and you seem to think what? How we met?
I seem to think that we originally started chatting, in the very millennial / Gen Z way on social media, via Twitter. I'm pretty sure we started chatting on Twitter, but the first time we met face to face was at a big event for the charity Scope, and it was the first time we'd been in the same room. So yeah, I genuinely think it's one of those things that Sam's been in my life for quite a while now, and vice versa, and because it's like the person's always been there, it's one of those.
It's working in the background, just like
but in an entirely positive, loving way. She's always been there. So I kind of forget how she got here. But yeah, I think we first met at a Scope event, and I think my initial reaction is, my God, she's an absolute whirlwind. Does she stop in sheer energy senses? Because when we both turned up at Scope, they were like, can you guys film this? Can you guys film this? Can you guys do this? While we were also at a networking event.
I was probably drunk though, Dan. That's the thing.
You probably were. I think the lovely Dan White, who's also been on this podcast, was with you and making sure that you didn't fall out of your chair.
Now, I mean, is that right? I don't know what this picture your
well, you said you were drunk. You said you were drunk.
Well, but there's a difference between being drunk and oblivious to my surroundings at a work engagement and nearly falling out of my wheelchair, Dan.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, she wasn't that drunk. She wasn't that drunk.
Thank you. Hey, moving on. No, I think you are right about the Twitter thing. I do, and I think that you were liking a lot of stuff, and you had a really sexy picture, and I kept going, "Oh, who is this handsome fellow that keeps liking everything that I do?" Yeah, so I think that was my first impression. It's like, "Oh, you're a dick." Yeah, stalking me. That's not bad. Could worse. Could get a worse stalker.
Well, But I probably liked your stuff because, obviously, as we now know, being however many years we are down the line, we think very similarly. Hence why this podcast works so well. Hence why we get on so well. Because we're very similar. So yeah,
we are very similar. So, yes, we are practically brother and sister, which is a bit weird to say, but we are. Okay, so I don't know what order we're going to go in now, but this one was for me, but I think it can be applicable. Applicable?
Yeah, that's a good word. That means
my
me
Lord,
as well.
I really need to go to bed very, very soon.
It's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, 3:30 in the afternoon.
That's really quite upsetting, isn't it? That it's only 3:30. I can't wait. I've got my Ugg boots on. I really want to turn my heated blanket on and just be done. Okay, so the question
Seriously, you and my girlfriend, I'm not putting you in the same room.
Let's move on from that then. Okay, so what has been the highlight of your career so far and why? Oh, that's a really difficult question because I think that everything that I do and the reason that I enjoy what I do still, and the reason why I kind of have so much passion for it, and possibly why I'm so successful at what I do, is because every opportunity I get, I don't become complacent, and I actually, everything that I get, it's so varied, and I sit there and go, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. So even, I could say, oh, it was a Maltesers advert, or I could say it was, doing a charity event, or, going on Jeremy Vine, or, being on Loose Women. Everything for me is I feel so blessed to be doing. And I'm always kind of a little bit taken away. Like, I always feel like, oh my God, really? Like, I'm doing that now. So there's no one significant moment in my life that has been my highlight. And I hope, I've got many more years to come where, things will still absolutely blow me away. I feel very blessed, to do what I do. Because it's that whole thing of if you do what you love, then you never have a day's work, do you? You never really feel like you're working. So yeah, there's not anything, but I suppose definitely the Maltesers for me was something not only like from getting a really well paid job, like that was my first kind of like, oh my God, I actually make money out of acting. But changing how people interacted with me, I noticed a shift. Not always for the good. Obviously, we talked about, trolling on this show, but just in the sense of people stopping and wanting my picture in the street, and not taking away that awkwardness between the wheelchair and, other people. I definitely noticed people were just so excited that they saw the girl off the telly. And I think that is one of the main reasons why I really push for better representation, because of that shift in attitudes and bias towards disabled people. So yeah, what about you, Dan?
Like you say, it's a tough question because much like you, my career is weird, wonderful, varied. So it's hard to compare jobs. Like, I've worked with young people with profound and multiple learning disabilities for their first experience of theatre ever. And that is a massive thing to do and a massive privilege to be a part of. But then I've also, been an aerial performer in the opening ceremony of the Paralympic Games in 2012, which in terms of scale, I would be surprised if anything in my career ever equals that again in terms of scale. It's 100 and, God knows how many million watching on TV around the world. 80,000 people in a stadium all at once, all live, all around the world. It's huge. So that was a moment. But much like you, I'm in the position where, without wanting to sound greedy, I want more. I want to break into like TV drama and TV comedy as a series or a soap or something like that. I want to do pantomime at Christmas when, theatres are eventually allowed to be open again and do pantomimes. I want to do all of those things. I may be getting older, but I don't want to stop yet. So yeah, I think it's very much the same. You don't sit on your laurels, and of course, much like you, there's all the campaigning stuff that I do for performers in general, like trying to get deaf and disabled performers in video games as motion capture artists and as voiceover artists, and trying to change the world one small step at a time. And I don't want to stop that either, because quite frankly, I don't know between acting and that what else I'd do. If that I'd want to get out of bed and do every day. So yeah, I think massive productions like the opening ceremony, really personal productions like working with young people with profound and multiple learning disabilities. Yeah, they don't compare to each other, but in their own ways, they're career highlights. That was a bit deep and thoughtful, wasn't it?
I love it. It's like, what is it? Like a therapy session. So our final question is: if you could give your advice to yourself around, say, like your early 20s for the future, what would it be? So I moved to London when I was 26. So in my early 20s, I would have just finished university and I would be starting my first teaching job. But I think for me, what I tell myself, particularly when I moved to London, I know that's a little bit older than 21. Looking back, there was some big epic failures that I made, misjudged people, misjudged opportunities. I was I thought I was quite savvy, and I've always had an older head on my shoulders. I think a lot of people with disabilities, particularly if you're born with an impairment, we're around adults all the time. So doctors and physios. So we tend to have like an older head on our shoulders. However, when I moved to London, I was naive, and I definitely, people took advantage of my kindness, and maybe that's just coming to a city. So I think for me, it's like just to remind people not to take my kindness for a mistake it for a weakness. Also, kind of don't let anyone gaslight you. People used to gaslight me quite a lot. I used to have to live with, some quite terrible people when I first moved to London, taking advantage, not paying for rent, kind of just abusing my nice Lancashire, warm nature.
Northern generosity.
Yeah, that generosity. And I think, I don't like confrontation. I'm a little bit more savvy now, and I think I'm a little bit more cold and hardened. And that's really sad because, I'm definitely, that's not who I am as a person. But I just think, don't let anyone gaslight you. I used to tell people, things that would be upset by them. And I used to go, but they're not, they've taken this money off me, or they've not, not paid bills, and I'm in debt because of these people. And people kind of didn't believe me. And that used to like really devastate me. So I think, looking back on that situation, don't take any shit from people. But I wish I was just a little bit stronger and be like, no, I'm not imagining this. I'm not fabricating any of this. I'm an intelligent young woman. And, even though I am a nice person, I'm not going to let you take advantage of that. Sorry, that was probably a little bit deep as well, but I didn't want to do the whole cliche route. I think that was, for me, that was a real, just a real shock to the system, kind of just being around people that would really take advantage. And the irony is, it's that whole thing of, I actually did think that because of my circumstances, people would be horrible to the girl in the wheelchair. And then all of a sudden, you've got people that are like really quite sinister, taking advantage. So I think that as well, very similar to when my sister said to me, because when I was a teenager, I went through a phase of just being a really cocky little, you know what. And my sister said, she turned around to me, she went, just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean someone won't turn around and punch you one of these days. And I was like, I remember that just resonated with me. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And she was right. No one punched me physically in London, but people certainly took me for a bit of a fool, I suppose. So yeah, just to be a bit more savvy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if I was to talk to my 21-year-old self, because when I turned 21 in Freshers Week at my university to study my drama degree. And then in my early 20s, just as I was finishing my degree, I lost my dad and I lost my granddad, and so I think I'd quietly say to myself, look, this degree is the right choice. Don't fuck it up, but it's the right choice. Don't take it for granted. It's not going to be easy, because you're about to go through some tough shit that you don't know about yet. But as a result, you'll be able to do some amazing things. And I think I just fill myself with that. I wouldn't necessarily want to take away experiences or change experiences, because, those experiences have made me who I am, for better or worse. But I just sort of instill myself with, this is always what you've wanted to do. This is still what you want to do. And because of it, you're going to be able to do some amazing things. It's not going to be easy, but go do it. So yeah, I think, without wanting to sound like an entire cliche, I think that's what it would be. But I wouldn't tell myself to change what happened, because those experiences make me who I am. If I avoid those I'm getting a bit meta and a bit but if I avoid those experiences, am I then going to be the same person?
Yeah, I agree with you. I very similar to you. I lost my father when I was 9, and it's that whole thing of these experiences, bad or good, they shape who you are. Would I wish my father passed away? No, but equally, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want it to change either.
No,
because it is that whole ripple effect, and what a lot of my drive and a lot of my determination, doesn't actually come from proving people wrong because of my impairment. Although there is obviously like a little bit of that now and again, those people that said I shouldn't or couldn't or wouldn't achieve.
Oh yeah, we like showing them once or twice.
Exactly, but I think a lot of it still comes from my father passed away when he was 38. I'm 34. You know what I mean? So like, if you put it in that context, it's like, wow, that's crazy to think that. So I definitely, my drive definitely comes from, living a life for him, the life that he'd kind of missed out on. So I think reassurance. And I think anyone who maybe might be watching this now, who's maybe, COVID has completely messed up their university or messed up their plans, even though it's absolutely shit and it's, not what you expected and it's scary to have things change, I think myself and Dan can really sympathise because, having an impairment where we spend time in hospital or our health is, not that great, we never know what's around the corner, like literally more so than most people. So we definitely have to accept that things aren't going to go the way we planned it to go, just because that's the nature of our disabilities, So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't succeed. So I think my message to anyone right now who is really struggling with COVID and the fact that it's fucked up your fucked up your immediate plans, I don't necessarily take that as a negative. A lot of my time that I spent in hospital or on bed rest, I actually became more creative and started to write. My teacher said that I was rubbish at writing. I couldn't spell. I kept getting really bad marks in spelling. And now I've got a column in the Metro. I write for Possibility magazine. So I think don't always see a change in plan as a negative. You can always, and go and find something else and kind of go off route a little bit and come back to your original plan. And see this as an adventure, not as an absolute failure. That's my personal opinion. I know it sounds a little bit patronising if you're in that situation right now, but I can assure you that see it as something exciting. Like do something that you never thought you were going to do. I mean, I would love to have maybe gone on a gap year. I didn't do that. But that might be more of an option for some people now, or go and volunteer, go and work with young people, go and work with the elderly, go and work with people with disabilities, use this time to be a better human, I suppose, a bit more a worldly individual. That was deep as well. We should charge for this shit.
We should, like, Philosophy of Life with Sam and Dan. Podcast number 2. No, but yeah, no.
Oh, I ran out of vodka.
Oh dear.
Oh.
But yeah, no, that did get a bit deeper than I expected. But yeah, just, I'd reassure myself at 21. And that'll be it, I think. And yeah. How do we follow that, Sam? How do we follow that?
It's your uplifting podcast.
Our first podcast back, and we've probably blown everybody's mind.
I know. Exploded. My goodness me. I do need to go and strip off in a minute, though, because I'm really hot. This fleece is really cozy, but I'm really warm now.
There you go, you see.
Really warm. Is anyone else? Have you turned on your radiators? Question.
I haven't, because I'm generally warm-blooded, but I live with family, and they have. So,
yeah,
the radiators are on.
I have. Yeah.
At the end of the day, assuming, God forbid, that finances aren't an issue for you to turn your heating on, especially when you've got impairments like us. You need to be warm. You need to
Yeah.
be,
Heck yes.
and it's a challenge. And I understand that people are in dire straits, and they do have to make unimaginable choices between food and heating, and my heart goes out to them, and I campaign where I can, especially for the deaf and disabled community, to hopefully mean that we have got income, and yeah. So my heart goes out to those people altogether. But there's
No,
this
it's
thing.
good.
There's this thing
And
in the UK,
I
isn't
think,
there?
sorry to cut you off, Dan, but I think there is still time to get your winter allowance.
Mm.
So for anyone who isn't aware of that, go and contact your gas and electric provider, and they will contact you. Basically, they'll find out whether you are entitled or not to an allowance, but it's really worth doing because it can be quite a substantial amount of money. So get on to them. I'm pretty sure, because I only just rang up recently, but I'm pretty sure that the cut-off point is not ended, if that makes sense. And if it has, you can definitely apply for next year.
Yeah. And this is the thing. And, if somebody takes that from this podcast and gets support, then that's amazing. Because, yeah, we need to stay warm over winter, impairments or otherwise, because nobody wants to be cold. Nobody wants to be hungry. Nobody wants to be... And, my heart goes out to, and I will do whatever I can, because, I'm not a wealthy man, so sadly I can't spread the money around, but I'll do whatever I can to try and support people in that position. And yeah, because
Tell you
that's
what's
no
really
position
good
to
though?
be.
These beads that you put in the microwave, these corns, you put them in the microwave. They're great girls if you've got period pain. But they're amazing. They're cheap as chips. You can get them online, get them on eBay. There are a couple that are probably under a £5 you'll be able to get them for. You put them in the microwave for 2 minutes. Don't put them any longer, because I blew one up and it was not nice. Yeah, I know it smells like burnt popcorn, but really, really bad. Yeah, not good. But yeah, they're really, really good. So
Life Downloaded podcast does not recommend blowing things up in your microwave.
No, please don't. But yeah, they're really, really great. And they're really great just in general, particularly if you've got aches and pains, to put in the back of your wheelchair and things. I really like these heat pads,
Oh, there you go.
I can't believe that we've gone from cats to how we met to heat
to philosophical life advice to
philosophical life. We will try and be a bit more structured next time, and we will also try and wangle a guest.
There probably won't be Matty Oakley, and I will remember to.
Oh no, sorry, Matt.
But Matt will come back at some point.
Yeah, do you know what? I like having a guest just because it gives us less work to do, which is always great.
Well, to be fair, darling, I haven't seen you in so long that this doesn't feel like work.
Oh, speak for yourself. No, I'm joking. But thank you for everyone who interacted with us. Thank you for all your questions. And yeah, we will definitely try and be a bit more mindful on social media and get a little bit more involvement, because it does make it much more fun. I really like hearing from you guys, and it kind of makes myself and Dan feel loved and warm and fuzzy. It kind of gives us a little bit of validation. But yes, so thank you everyone, and obviously if you're not watching live, then thank you for listening to us.
Thank you for watching the replays, listening on the podcasts. For those of you that
I'll try and make a bit of an effort for you all next time. I feel like I've turned into an absolute just
But do you know what? Do you know what Life Downloaded has always been, Sam, and will always be? And that's real and legit. We're honest with you when we told you we haven't been good enough. We're honest with you when Sam doesn't turn up in makeup. We're honest with you with whatever we talk about. That's what Life Downloaded is about. We could make it Hollywood. We could make it shiny. We could make it seem perfect. But at the end of the day, just like anyone else, we have lives. We're human beings. Stuff goes on. But we will try and put out more episodes of Life Downloaded on a regular basis.
We will. And true to form, I need a we.
As
Which
always.
normally ends our podcast, doesn't it, Dan?
It does indeed.
Normally
So,
a good cue.
So why break with tradition? Sam needs a wee, everyone. This has been our return podcast after a big hiatus. We will be back hopefully next week. Who knows? Let's go crazy. Sam is now waving a bottle of wine for those of you that can't see and are catching up on the actual audio podcast. She's waving it in front of me. She's now taking the top off and drinking up the bottle. It's that kind of day, everybody. Sam's that kind of classy lady. But yeah, this has been our first podcast back in a while. Please feel free to watch on the replay. Please feel free to share on YouTube and so on and so on and so on. Catch us up on the audio podcast if that's more your style, and subscribe. We will be back in the not too distant future. Take care. Look after each other.
Bye-bye.
And we'll see you soon.
This wine's not good.
Oh. See you later, everybody.
It's like water.